Hi guys, welcome from San Fernando, Trinidad, where in a few hours from now New Zealand will face West Indies in a very crucial Group C game. West Indies have won two on the trot, so a win tonight will all but guarantee them a place in the Super 8s. New Zealand, on the other side, must be still reeling from that massive loss against Afghanistan, which makes this a must-win game for them. Uh, but before we go further into today's match, let's talk briefly about the pitches. They've been the talking point throughout the World Cup. Of course, over in the United States of America at the Nassau County, matches have been played on a drop in wicket. The games have been low scoring thrillers. Stroke play has been difficult. It's a big ground as well, so on most grounds where some of the shots would have been fours, these have been restricted to just a couple of runs. Here in the Caribbean, most places the pitches are played okay. Let's not forget both West Indies and New Zealand are coming from Providence, Guyana, where the matches were played on low, slow turners. In contrast, Trinidad, the Brian Lara Stadium, which is hosting its first T20 World Cup match in this edition, is expected to have better batting surfaces. But the average first innings score here is 185. This augurs well, especially for New Zealand, who are woefully short on both practice and runs. They would hope that the ball comes into the bat nicely and they're able to rack up a good total or chase a good total if it comes to that. But interestingly, West Indies captain Robin Pal on match eve said that even he doesn't know what to expect from the Trinidad surface because there's been a bit of weather around. It's been raining for the past 2 days here, although it's bright and sunny now. Fingers crossed, the forecast does look promising for tonight's game, but no one really knows how the pitch will play. Although historically, this is a venue where England had racked up upwards of 260 against West Indies in a T20 game last December. So there are plenty of runs to be had here. But Robin Pal also mentioned how disappointed he was with the pitches in Guyana. They play a lot of Caribbean Premier League games over there, so he expected things to be a bit easier. However, it wasn't. Spinners rule the roost over there. By and large, having said that, by and large, the wickets in the Caribbean have been good. Barbados was a mix of high-scoring games and low-scoring matches as well. For instance, the England-Australia game at the Kensington Oval, where Australia racked up to 200 plus, was a high-scoring match, and a few runs here and there, England could have chased it down as well. But pitches have been a bone of contention in the West Indies for a while. Sportstar had caught up with former West Indies captain Dinesh Ramdeen for a chat, who had emphasized the need for education when it came to pitch making. He talked about his playing days, about how as captain the team wanted to play a quarter of quicks for a test match, but they would land up at a venue with a pitch where there's no grass, so they would want something and they would get something entirely different. So he spoke about a sort of a channel of communication between the team and the board when it comes to deciding venues that would cater to good cricket, but more importantly cater to the home team's strengths as well. Kent Crafton, who's the regional curator with Cricket West Indies, had spoken to Sportstar a while ago about the work that has gone into the making of the pitches in the build-up to the World Cup. Of course, there were workshops held. One thing that he mentioned was the lack of infrastructure, the knowledge when it comes to using the apparatuses at hand was the Achilles heel, according to him. That's something that he has tried to address during his time as regional curator. He was appointed in 2014. It's been 10 years now. The results are there for everyone to see. The wickets have gotten better. However, if you speak to some of the other stakeholders, it's not as good as they want it to be. But as all of them mentioned, it's a slow process. It's going to take some time. And if you look at the weather in the Caribbean as well, they barely have any outdoor facilities. Barbados probably has one, Trinidad has a couple, but otherwise, when it's raining here, it's impossible to train for the players because the lack of indoor facilities is a hindrance for these guys. So back to pitches. It's still early days. We'll soon sort of crank up pace as we enter the Super 8s. It'll be interesting to see how the pitches play everywhere in the second half of the tournament after a bit of cricket has been played on them. But by and large, if you talk to the players after the games, they would say that the wickets have held up good enough so far. And yeah, coming back to the New Zealand and West Indies game, the pressure will be on New Zealand. It's a match they have to win. West Indies, of course, would want to just make it 3 out of 3 and get an easy passage into Super 8. Mind you, they are the co-hosts. They're a home team. They're expected to win. They're playing well as well. They've got a good balance going. New Zealand, on the other hand, chose not to play 2 warm-ups because, one can understand because they had batches of players coming in from the IPL, but still, looking back, they would have probably wanted those 2 warm-up games under their belt going into the tournament. They look woefully undercooked at this point. However, it's a quiet team. One thing you don't do when it comes to ICC tournaments is rule out New Zealand in the early stages. So I'm sure West Indies expects a fight back. We at Sportstar will be keeping a very close eye on the action. I'll be getting you live updates. We'll be running a blog as well, so do tune in. And yeah, that'll be all. Bye bye.